is the first time I've asked you to go through and solve systems of equations using the elimination method. You just saw it today, and now you've gone home and you've probably forgotten some of the basic steps. Remember, you need to add or subtract the two equations together to get them to cancel out one of the variables. In this case, though, when we add or subtract, it doesn't cancel anything out, so we need to actually look at the equation and see if there's anything we can change it to make it work a little bit better. And there is. Basically, we can take a look at the first equation and times it by -2. And what that does is that we're able to distribute that -2 all the way across this equation, and it's going to make this 5y into a -10y. Why did I choose to multiply it by -2? Because I knew that eventually I'd be multiplying this 5y, this positive 5y, by the -2, and that gets me a -10y. And it's kind of interesting because if I compare this new equation that I made right underneath the second equation, I can now go through and add the two equations together. And right here's where I see that I made a bad mistake. -2 times -2x is 4x. -2 times 5y is -10y. But do you see the -2 times 23? I forgot to do that. That happens all the time, and we need to be careful with that. So this becomes -46, and 16 plus -46 is -30. As far as what happened to the 10y plus -10y, it canceled out. And so we're left with this, and we can solve for x. And now we can actually go through and try to determine what the value for y is by taking this x equals 6 and plugging it back into either of the original equations. Since this x is a 6, I know that the x in this equation can basically be turned into an x. And sorry, I misspoke. I knew that the x in this equation could be turned into a 6, and now we just go and solve for y. So now let's take a look at number 2. Please be careful. This is not a no solution setup, because once I divide 18 by 18, I've got to divide the 0 by 18, which literally does make it 1x equals 0. So it's not 0x equals 0, it's 1x equals 0. And there's no need to actually write the 1 there. Okay, that's the same thing. But 18 divided by 18 is 1, and 0 divided by 18 is 0. So x is actually 0. So our solution